Hello, everybody. I'm Chef David from David's Culinary Catering here in Brick, New Jersey, 2520 Hooper Avenue. So today I'm going to do a few demonstrations. I'm going to make a full course meal for you. We're going to have a salad, some bolognese with spaghetti with bolognese, and then we're going to have some chocolate pudding for dessert. And that's where we're going to start, with the chocolate pudding. It might sound strange to start at the end, but you know, I am a personal chef as well, and you know, when I go to someone's house and I prepare food for them, you know, I have to have the dessert all ready for them. You know, otherwise, if I start on their dessert when their entree is done, they might not eat dessert for a couple hours. So anyway, dessert's always a good place to start anyway. Sometimes I eat dessert first too, right? You go to a buffet, you get all the good dessert, you eat it. It's good for you. Okay, so we're going to do a chocolate pudding. We might have the recipe. We have the recipe? I sent it to Nick. Well, we're working on getting the recipe up for you. So first, we're going to come over here and I've got some milk and sugar in a pot already. And what happened to my bowl? I need another. Okay, so we're going to get that warm. We want to start with room temperature milk. That way, you know, it takes a little bit longer. I mean, it takes a little bit less time to heat up and less chance for it to scald. And I need to grab a bowl. I thought I had that bowl. Anyway, so the other ingredients we have to add is we have sugar and sifted flour and some sifted cornstarch. We're also making chocolate pudding, so we want to make sure we melt the chocolate. The best way to melt chocolate is to put it under a double boiler. So we'll just put it over here and have that melt. And we're also going to put some egg yolks in with our mix. Let's use a rubber spatula to get all that out. And then a little bit more milk. And we want to whisk that up nice. The sifting of the flour and the cornstarch helps to eliminate any lumps. So we got that going. And then we'll check out our milk over here. And that's getting warmed up nice. Put that down here for a second. Beautiful. Okay. So milk is almost up to a boil. You want to bring the milk to a boil. Just be careful that you don't boil over the pot, and then you're going to make a mess on your stove. You want to give it a stir. Make sure that it's all hot. And then that should just take another minute or so. And over here you see we have our chocolate is boiling, and that's starting to melt a little bit. It's just an ounce and a half or so of chocolate starting to melt. I would put it in my microwave, but I don't have a microwave. So this is the best way to do it. And so now that our milk is coming to a boil, you see it's bubbling around the side. See that? It comes like that. You want to turn that down so that we don't boil over. And again, we want to stir it, make sure it's all incorporated, and then we're going to add our egg yolk, sugar, and flour mix. And you want to make sure that you stir that as it's going in, because you don't want your eggs to scramble. And then you want to make sure that you stir it continuously until it comes back up to a boil. You see it's starting to thicken up already? We'll make sure you get into the corners of the pot. So you're starting to thicken up. Now you want to be careful. See, there we go. It's coming up. Again, you want to be careful that we don't make scrambled eggs. All right, the eggs will cook. The flour and cornstarch will cook. We turn that off. We move it from the heat. Stir it up a little bit. We're going to add our chocolate. All right, because we're making chocolate pudding because most kids, I guess, don't like vanilla pudding. Some adults do, but most people like chocolate better. We're going to stir that up nice. Now, if you want darker, you can always use a darker chocolate. But this is going to come out tasting nice and chocolatey. And again, you want to make sure you get in the corners. Use your rubber spatula to go around and get the corners so it's all incorporated. Just like that. And then you add a little bit of vanilla, a couple drops of vanilla. A couple drops of vanilla. And put a little bit of butter in the end. And then after that's all incorporated, you can portion it out into your individual containers, or you can put it into one big container like this. Again, you want to make sure you scrape it out. It's nice and smooth. Give it a little stir in there. Now, when you cover it, you can cover it. You want to cover the actual pudding itself with the plastic. Otherwise, it forms a film. And we really don't want that. So this is our chocolate pudding, and we'll get that at the end. But we need to make it first. So next we're going to do our Bolognese sauce. We'll get a frying pan. We'll get that hot. And we're going to make some spaghetti to go with that. So we want to get that water boiling as well. And the spaghetti water, I put a little bit of salt in it. Right? I don't use any oil, just some salt. And once we get our pan hot, I've got about 1.75 pounds or so of ground beef. I use the 80-10. You can use the 80-20. You can use the 90-10, whatever you like. And we put it into the hot pan. You want to make sure that the pan is hot because you want the meat to brown a little bit. And don't worry if it starts to stick. We're going to take care of that. And we're going to season the meat with some salt and pepper. Okay. Give that a little stir. And while that's going, I do have some stuff cut up for it already. But we're going to cut an onion. So the way I do my onions, cut the ends off. You cut it in half. And then you take off the skin. Many different ways of cutting an onion, but this is the way I learned many, many years ago. Now I'm telling you I'm old, but and it seems to work very well for me all these years. So if it works for me, it can work for you. Now you always want to cut on a flat surface, so it's flat. And depending on how big you want the onion diced, that's how much you go up on the onion. And you cut 3/4 of the way into the onion. Just like that. Okay, make sure your palm is up. You don't want to cut yourself. And then again, you slice down 3/4 of the way in the same size that you would like the onion to be when you're done. Right? Just like that. And then you just cut across. And you've got nicely diced onions. This is the core. You don't want the core. The core is going to make things bitter. You just do a little bit of that. And here's your onions. We'll take a look at the beef. I hear it sizzling. It's browning nicely. You want to break it up a little bit as well. Okay. So here's our onions. Celery, we're going to do the same thing. You cut the ends off. You don't want the ends. And then this one, you just cut down like this, the same size that you'd like it to be in the end. Turn it sideways. Just watch your fingers. We got our celery. Carrots, we do the same thing. So if it's too long, right, too uncomfortable for you, again, you want to make one cut so you have a flat surface to work on. Now you have a flat surface. And then you cut down the size that you want the carrots to be. And you want all the celery, the carrots, and the onions all to be roughly the same size. And for this dish, we want about the same amount of each: carrots, onions, and celery. We'll check that beef again. We want to turn it down a little bit now because we're browning up nice. Looks good. Just finish up this other half a carrot real quick. Now for this, I'm just using straight ground beef. If you like, you can use a mix with veal and pork, and that works good also. But a lot of people may not at this point in time have access to veal and pork. So now we're just going to add our onions, our carrots, and celery, nice and colorful. And we're going to season again with some salt and pepper. I always season as you go. Right, and then you want to mix that up. Now what's going to happen, you see some of that stuff is stuck there. The onions, the vegetables are going to develop some moisture, and that's going to all come off the pan. You want that. It's going to add some flavor to your Bolognese sauce. Right, we turn that down just a little bit. And then we add some garlic. We can't forget garlic, right? Gotta have garlic. We got about tablespoon and a half or so in there. We'll stir that up. Now, at the same time, we're going to make some pasta. So I got the water boiling, right? So my secret to pasta is to have enough water, have it hot, and stir. Okay, so you're going to drop your pasta in. Once you drop it in, you want to stir it so it doesn't stick. Okay, it's going to take a minute for it to get a little bit softer. But once you stir it in there, and the water comes up to a boil quickly, it will not stick together. So you don't have to have oil. And you can also cook your pasta ahead of time without oiling it and so forth, and it'll still come out al dente and separate. And I'll show you about that later. Okay, so water's come to a boil. So I'll stir it up. You can let it sit for a minute or two. And we have our meat and our vegetables cooking nice. Got a nice mix in there. Turn that water down a little bit. Okay. And there's really not a whole lot of fat, even though it was 80-20 meat. There's really no fat in there. Whatever was in there, we used to saute the vegetables with. Now the vegetables starting to get a little tender. See, we're starting to be able to scrape some of that off the bottom of the pan. Beautiful. Just want to give this a little stir. You got to keep an eye on it. You got to watch your food. You have to take care of your food. You have to nurture it. You know, a lot of people that talk to their plants, nurture their plants. They're very healthy. I talk to and nurture my food. Seems to work for me. Okay, so we have, let's check out, make sure we got no fat. No, your fat is good. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some tomato paste. We'll add a little paste. The thing about the bolognese and the paste, some recipes have it, some don't. But I like to use a little bit of paste that helps thicken it up. The bolognese should be a nice thick sauce. And unless you got a whole lot of time to reduce your tomatoes, okay, we mix that up good. Now we're going to add the wine. Now, you'll find some recipes call for white wine, right, which I have here. It's about a quarter cup of white wine. And I also like to add the red wine because I'm using beef. If you're using a lot of veal and pork, you might want to stick to the white because the red might overpower a little bit. But I like the red. It adds richness and flavor to the dish. And that also is going to help deglaze and take all the brown meat on the bottom of the pan. So you really don't have to worry about that too much. Now I want to take a look at the pasta real quick. All right? Nope. Still cooking away, still doing good. So after your wine has reduced down, see we got, your pan is coming nice and clean. See that? Still got a few areas, but see how it comes off nice. And I want to add a little bit of basil and some oregano. Most people have basil and oregano in their cupboards already. If you have fresh, use fresh, but wait until the end to add the fresh. And even if you do have fresh, you add a little bit of dry to boost that flavor a little bit. And then I use marinara sauce because it has flavor already instead of just using regular tomatoes. A lot of recipes you might find just says use regular tomatoes, but I like to use sauce. This is about 20 ounces of sauce, so about one jar or a little bit more. Depends on how big your jar is. And you want to get that mixed in good. Turn that down just a tad bit. all the stuff on the bottom's coming off. All that's going to add flavor. I'm all about the flavor. That's why we eat, right? Tastes good. So you see, nothing sticks. Then we're going to just let that simmer a little bit, right? We'll bring it up a little bit. We'll check our pasta again, right? It's looking good. You don't have to taste it. You can just break it open, and you can see that it's just about ready. So at that time, we're going to just take it, and we're just going to strain it. All right, so we just strained it. And we're just going to let it sit like that and cool off. And then we just have this simmering nicely. Right, you want to let that simmer and have all the flavors combine. Okay. Now I want to go into make a little salad. We'll make a little salad dressing and a little salad. You can either start with your salad or you can end with your salad after the meal. It helps with digestion. So first I want to just go over a little bit how to cut a head of romaine. Got to check to make sure that there's no brown spots. So it's very similar to the onion. 3/4 of the way down, you cut, you turn it over, and then you cut a couple more times into the leaves. Sometimes you have to go on the side like that. And the reason for this is bite size, okay? A salad should have lettuce that's bite size. In fact, everything in your salad should be bite size, okay? All right, because nobody likes to eat a salad and have half a piece of lettuce hanging out their mouth or, you know, something dripping down on their clothes, right? So this is all bite-sized pieces. Now I am going to add it to some mesclun mix, which are some spinach is a little bit big, but it's not too bad. But I do like to add to it, and you got to watch sometimes the cores are a little bit. Right? So we just do that. We just mix it. Then we have a nice mix of lettuce with our salad. So for dressing, just want to use some oil. Turn down our Bolognese a little bit. And we're going to use a little bit of garlic. Depends on how much you like garlic. All right, a little bit of pepper. And I like to use some flakes. And then some diced onion, which I diced up. I did it the same way as the other onion, except I just cut them smaller. Right? You stir that up. You're going to add a little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. Now today I'm just using a little bit of red wine vinegar. Now you can make this with balsamic or any other kind of vinegar you like. just a little bit of red wine vinegar. And usually it's about 1/4 to 1/3 to oil is your ratio. Then I also just add a little bit of oregano, a little bit of basil. It's a nice, quick, simple salad. Everybody should have most of these ingredients already at the house. No need to run to the supermarket. Okay? And then to add to the salad, I put some red peppers, some green peppers, put some diced tomatoes. Again, everything is bite-sized and can fit inside your mouth without hanging over. Right? Some cucumbers. I like to take the seeds out of the cucumber. Easy way to do that is after you peel it a couple times, you take the end of your peeler and you just scrape it down. And you can take out most of the seeds if you don't like seeds. If you like seeds, then by all means, leave them in there. And then a little bit of onions. Then you toss that up. Nice and colorful. And then before you eat, you dress it. You add your dressing to it. Like this. You also don't want to drown your salad. I know when you go out to restaurants and stuff, they give you this giant little container of salad dressing on the side. Salad dressing should be a complement to the salad, not overpower the salad. And there you have it. It's nice, it's moist, it's colorful, it's tasty. Let's go back and take a look at our Bolognese. All right, we see it simmering nicely. All right, you see the nice big chunks of carrots in there. All right. Okay. And that, so we got that going. Whoop. Watch your flame. And really, the Bolognese doesn't take a long time. If you're using if you're using the canned tomatoes, then it's going to take longer because you need those tomatoes to cook. But if you're using sauce like I do, the tomatoes are already cooked out, so it's just a matter of incorporating all the flavors together. What else we got? Hmm? Okay. So that's pretty much what we have. Let me get everything together, and we will set you up a plate. Let me show you our spaghetti. So this is spaghetti that I made earlier that's already cold. And it sticks together just a little bit, but if you're going to add that to a sauce, that will break up real easy. It's stuck together a little bit because there's still a lot of starch on it. Okay? So this is what we made a little bit earlier. Oh, I made it earlier. And it is cold. You mix all that in there, nice. See how once it gets mixed up with some sauce, it starts to separate. Plate this up. So this is a finished bolognese sauce, spaghetti bolognese, and I'm going to go grab the pudding that I made earlier. So here's some pudding that I made earlier. See how I just put the plastic exactly on the pudding instead of just covering it, and there's no film on there, and that's beautiful. Does anybody have any questions? No? I'm sorry? Yeah? Oh. Does anybody have any questions? Type in anybody have any questions, type them in, and we'll get you some answers. No? Okay. So that I guess that concludes my first live video of cooking demonstrations. If anybody has any ideas of what they might want to see the next time, we will be. Oh, can you order food? Yes, you can order food. I'm currently doing specials, family specials and dinner for two specials, and catering, 30% off catering right now. You can get that by calling 609-402-6281, or you can email at david@davidsculinarydelights.com. Those are the best ways of contacting me if anybody wants to order food. It's free delivery to locally to Brick. Otherwise, it's you can come and pick it up at 2520 Hooper Avenue in Brick.
Can you do that info one more time so I can write in the comments?
What's that?
What's the info again? Sorry, just write it in the comments.
The name?
Number.
Oh. 609-402-6281, or david@davidsculinarydelights.com.
Now, did you answer this? Did you do curbside pickup?
Yeah, you can do curbside pickup.
Okay. That's about all the questions. Maybe ask me any more.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions?
A little bit. In the meantime, is there anything else you want to tell or talk about with your recipe? Anything you want to say to the audience?
Well, if if any, like I said, if anybody wants any ideas on what they might want to learn, we can, you can shoot me an email, and then I can try to incorporate your ideas into the next coming videos, live streaming that we're going to be doing. And
actually, that's a question we got. We're wondering when the next live stream is, if we'll be doing it again.
Yes, we are going to be doing it again. I don't believe that we have the date set yet, but it will certainly be within 1 month. Definitely be within 1 month. So anywhere between a couple weeks and a month, we'll be doing another one.
Cool. I think we're good.
Okay.
Want to wrap it up and say goodbye to everyone?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Again, I am Chef David from David's Culinary Delights, personal chef catering services in Brick, New Jersey, 2520 Hooper Avenue, 609-402-6281, or David at davidsculinarydelights.com. And thank you for watching.
Oh, one other thing.
Oh.
I got a suggestion. Someone asked if we could do monthly themes like Asian, Italian, and seafood. Are you interested in that?
Absolutely, we can do that.
All right. Maybe ask them what they'd like to see next.
Okay, so we can certainly do that. Does anybody have a theme that they'd like to see next?
Seafood. All right, I got one for seafood, Asian food.
Okay, so we have someone looking for Asian food and seafood. So that's good. We can possibly do a seafood one next, since we are coming into the summer and there'll be a lot of hopefully fresh seafood available. So we can certainly put something together for that.
All right, we got 2 books for Greek.
Greek?
Yeah.
Okay, we can certainly do something Greek. If anybody has any specific suggestions that they're looking to do, again, shoot me an email and I can see if I can incorporate that into the menu.
I think we're good.
Okay. Again, thank you very much for watching. If anybody's interested in a family of 4 dinners or a dinner for 2, contact me at 609-402-6281 or David at davidsculinarydelights.com. Thank you. Have a great day.